Welcome to Dormston School. Now, normally we would be having a Year 7 strategy evening to talk about how your children have settled into school and give you a little bit more information. However, because of the current situation, we can't do that. So we thought the best thing to do would be to make a video and give you all that information in this presentation. You're going to hear and see a lot of information. This will all be on our website, and you can download both the PowerPoint that you're going to see and the video itself. So let's start off. Today, what you're going to hear is a little bit more about our school expectations in terms of attendance, what we expect there, behaviour and conduct around the school. You will probably know some of this already, and if you've got children in older years, then I'm sure you will. However, this just gives us a chance to go over that information. And finally, we're going to talk about how you will know about your child's progress, and also how we ensure that your children are safe, and our commitment to safeguarding at Dormston School. You've probably seen this many times and heard me talking about this many times, but these are really important to us. And our school has a set of core values that we believe every child needs to adhere to in order to be the best version of themselves and to leave this school as successful citizens and successful learners. And the first of those is effort. Now, I've been in and out of lessons with your children in Year 7 since they arrived, and I've been telling them all, as I told them in an assembly, that as long as they can walk out of this school every day and hand on heart say, I've tried my very, very best, then we'll all be very happy. Effort is the key to unlocking potential. We believe that if every child tries their best, then they will be truly successful. Children aren't always good at everything. Some children are good at English, some at maths, some at science, some at PE, some at the humanities. But we expect every child, regardless of ability, to give it their very, very best shot. Knowledge. We are a school. It sounds very obvious, but our key purpose is to make sure that your children get through this school, get the best results possible, so that they can go on and be whatever they want to be. And we'll continually talk about knowledge to them. So things like homework are very, very important to us, and it's important that students get into the habit of doing their homework, completing the homework and handing it in on time. We also ask that they read as much as possible. I believe that reading really unlocks children's potential. All of our subjects will expect children to read around what they're learning in class to really enhance the learning experience. We also have something called knowledge organisers. Now, very soon you'll see your children bringing home a folder with all knowledge organisers in, and these are information sheets that are given to them with lots more information about their subject. They can also do, as part of knowledge organisers, they can also do extended work and non-required work, which means that children are researching and reading and really looking into subjects and doing and taking ownership of their own learning. There will also be lots of careers advice throughout the 5 years, and you'll hear more about that as we go through. Respect is incredibly important to us. I expect everyone in Dormston to treat other people like they want to be treated themselves, and I think that's the key. So I expect children to respect each other and to acknowledge that everybody who comes to Dormston is different, and diversity is very, very important to us. I also expect children to respect the staff in school and to be polite and to be courteous and to show good manners. And also I expect them to respect themselves, to come into school with their heads high and their shoulders back and showing that respect. Children should take responsibility for themselves. As they're getting through secondary school, they're growing up and they're becoming young adults, and it's time for them to start being responsible. So that might mean making sure that they're on school on time and always punctual and always trying to attend. It should involve making sure that their homework is done to the best of their ability, and really aiming to receive our reward ties, and you'll hear more about that later on. They can also take extra responsibility by joining our student council, and students who are interested in that will hear more from the deputy heads of house later in the year about how they can get involved. And finally, particularly in this day and age, resilience is our 5th core value. It's important that when children come to us, they never give up, they always try their best. Even when things get a little bit tough and a little bit difficult, and they might over the coming weeks or months, I expect them to never give up, to dig their heels in and know that if they keep trying and if they keep working, that they will succeed. And finally, our environment. Our environment is incredibly important to us. I believe that we should try and give children the very, very best learning experience, and that includes the environment. And we've been spending a lot of money trying to make sure the environment looks as good as it possibly can be. So we've had new displays put through school. You can see our diversity display there. Also displays down technology, in geography, in English, in maths, and all of that is designed to make children excited about coming to school. And I would like the learning environment to be kept looking as good as it possibly can be. So when we're talking about respect, I also expect children to respect the learning environment. As I said, you're going to hear and see lots of information. Mrs. Bassan, who is our coordinator for Year 7 and an assistant head teacher in the school, is going to give you a little bit more information. As I said, all of this will be available on our website. And now Mrs. Bassan, our assistant head teacher who's responsible for Year 7, is going to take you through our Year 7 strategy, which includes information on your child's progress, on our expectations, and on safeguarding in the school.
Hello, my name's Mrs. Bassan, and I'm responsible for the Year 7 strategy, as Mr. Dixon said. So to begin with, the Year 7 strategy, one of the most important things is ensuring that your children settle in. They have to go through lots of new experiences, there's lots of new information, and we try and ensure that things are as smooth as possible. This year in particular, things are a little bit different. They have their own year zone, and that means that they are spending a lot of time within the same corridor, within the same zone. The advantage of that is I'm able to go in, check that they're okay, monitor their progress and monitor how they all are. So that's the first thing. The second thing that we do as part of the Year 7 strategy is we try to make pupils aware of high aspirations and what they need to start thinking about in order to achieve those aspirations. We expect our pupils to aim high, and whatever aim high is for them, we try to facilitate that. For some of them then will go on to look at universities, whereas others will take a much more vocational approach. But we start this very, very early on, so we start this in Year 7. We will also try to help you as parents in this journey, as part of this journey, because really the most successful pupils are those where school, parents and children, they're all working together. One of the most important things you need to be aware of is the house that your child is in and the extra pastoral care that your child's head of house and deputy head of house can give them. So if you do ever have any concerns, they are your first port of call and you can email them directly. Secondly, given what we've just gone through, it's really, really important that every single child attends school as much as they possibly can. Our school target attendance is 97%. Last week, we already achieved above that, and Year 7 are very much doing their bit, making sure that they are all in on time, because punctuality is also important. So if you can, send your child to school every day, even if sometimes they have a slight sniffle or they're feeling slightly unwell, if they've got a bit of a headache, if you can send them in. We do have a nurse, and if there are medical concerns, we can look into that as well. Can you also ensure that we have your up-to-date contact numbers, so if there are any concerns, we can contact you immediately. Any medication that your child has, ideally these should be taken at home, but if you do need additional support, again contact your head of house and we can see what we can do to accommodate. You will find a page in your child's planner which has detentions. Now that is down to punctuality. It's really, really important that your child turns up to school on time. If they are late, whatever the reason, it will result in a detention and they need to be aware of that. This is part of their responsibility to get themselves to school on time every day. Obviously, uniform is really, really important and we have got high expectations. Just some basic points to remember. Our shoes should be black and you should be able to polish them. That way they'll always come in looking wonderful. At the moment, we're really, really pleased with how all of your pupils have come in, all of your children have come in, sorry. Another thing to remember is that coats need to be black, navy blue or dark grey, with no fur lining, no fur trims, etc. And that girls' makeup really in Year 7 should be non-existent. We don't allow nail varnish either. So if you could just bear those couple of things in mind. If you do have any queries, obviously contact your heads of house and they will give you more information. We have very, very high standards of behaviour at Dormston and we're very proud of that. We expect children to be courteous, to listen attentively. If these things happen, then they will be successful. Their behaviour around the school as well is really important. Again, at the moment we are following one-way systems. Generally speaking, Year 7 have settled really well. They understand the one-way systems, they know which way to go, and they're beginning to feel confident about this. We do not accept children stealing the learning of others, and this is what happens when children are disruptive, when they're not listening. And I can say for all the lessons that I've seen, both myself and Mr. Dixon, we have seen some examples of exemplary behaviour. Awards are really important at Dormston, and children are given different coloured ties. So we have bronze, silver, gold and platinum. Now these ties do not come easily. You are rewarded for attendance, good effort and involvement in extracurricular activities. And on average, generally speaking, pupils can achieve their bronze tie towards the end of Year 7, sometimes going into Year 8. It does take almost a year for them to achieve it. There are also additional rewards. So if you have 100% attendance, you will achieve an engraved cut glass award. You'll also be put into a prize draw where you can achieve some extra vouchers. Twice a year, the top 10 pupils for effort from each house are also invited to a special evening where they will have a treat. So have other ways of rewarding your children. We have a system called Quick Notes. This is where your child will receive a small postcard, but you will also be contacted if they have displayed some exemplary work during a lesson or their behaviour or attitude has been exemplary throughout a lesson. Moving on to curriculum. Our curriculum runs on a 2-week timetable, and throughout those 2 weeks your child will have 7 lessons of English, 7 lessons of maths, 6 of science, 6 of arts, but they are split between art, music and drama, 9 of humanities, split between geography, history and religious studies, and then 4 languages lessons, and they are either French or German, 4 PE lessons, 2 computing lessons, 1 life skills lesson and 1 reading lesson. That amounts to 25 times 2, which is 50, and they have those 50 lessons over those 2 weeks. Obviously at the moment our extracurricular provision is minimal. Hopefully we will soon be able to run a whole range of extracurricular activities as we have in the past, which include things like additional art, cooking lessons, we've had bake-offs, crafts, we've had our production, dance competitions, archery and a whole range of other things. We also try to ensure, as part of responsibility, that your child comes with all the correct equipment. Given the current situation, they also have to, we're not allowed to lend any equipment out, so it is vital that they come to school fully prepared. That includes things like coloured pens and pencils. We're doing a lot more self-assessed work as part of our updated marking policy. They'll also need to bring in their own glue sticks, etc., etc. Homework is an important part of what we do at Dormston, and your child will receive homework. We have a system called Go for Schools, and in a few weeks' time all of that will be up and running so that your child receives their homework electronically. But they also have a system of their homework diary, and at the moment they are recording all their homeworks in their homework diary. They should receive between 1 or 2 pieces of homework daily. Some of the best, one of the best things you can do as parents is encourage them to try and complete their homework on the day that it is set. If they struggle, then they can email their teacher directly. Normally, we could say they can go and find their teacher, but at the moment it's best to email their teachers should they need any help. Another handy tip is to try and keep them away from distractions. So try to encourage them, as I'm sure you already do, to complete their homework away from the television, away from their mobile phones, etc. That way they can focus completely on their work so it can be completed to the best standard. In addition to the curriculum, where we've got the academic subjects, we also study a programme of life skills and PSHE, and this is really preparing your pupils for the future. So within that we will look at study skills and how they prepare for exams, but also how they learn and how the curriculum is set up in that way. We look at puberty and friendships. We look at their physical health and well-being as well as their mental health and well-being. We will do a programme of active citizenship, and then finally, in the final term, we focus very much on exam preparation. One of the key things Mr. Dixon spoke about is responsibility, and it is, now that your children are in year 7, their responsibility to be as organised as they possibly can. I've already spoken about the homework diary, but little things like getting their bag ready the night before, all of these things really help when it comes to organisation. You may be aware, you may not be aware, our GCSE grading system has changed. No longer do we have grades A star down to G. They have turned to numbers, and if you have a look, we have the equivalent. There's our A star to G grading and the new grading structure. Now your children will be given targets, and their targets will start from a grade 1, even in year 7, or working towards a grade 1. And as they move up the years, they will have their grading moved up. They will also be given an end of year 11 target so that they know what their flight path is and they know where they are along that flight. Your first formal data release will be on Wednesday the 6th of January. That is when you will receive a full report from every subject on how your child is progressing. So that will be effort as well as your 9 to 1 grades. You will also have some comments from your child's tutor, head of house and the head teacher or leadership team. The second lot of data you will receive will be in May, and this will focus mainly on effort and their progress grades. Finally then, in July, after they have done their exams, you will have their final data release for this year. We will also, hopefully, fingers crossed, be running a parents' evening, 2 parents' evenings. The first one, I have got to be confirmed because obviously it does depend on government guidance. The first one should be on the 26th of October. This is an opportunity for you to meet your child's form tutor, and it tends to be either if you need to speak to them or if we have some concerns and we want to contact you. So it tends to be a targeted consultation evening. Not everyone will be involved in that evening. The second one is the one where everybody will be involved, and that's January, and that's where you will see every one of your child's teachers and you can see how they are making progress. Safeguarding is really important at Dormston School. We get all of our pupils to sign an acceptable use policy, and we do not allow the use of mobile phones during the school day. Normally we would get your children to hand their phones in. At the moment though, as long as they're switched off and in the bottom of their bags, should they choose to bring a phone in, that is perfectly acceptable. Our site is locked and secured from 8:40 until 3, so that pupils can only sign in and sign out. We have a red and green lanyard system so that we know which visitors need supervision and which visitors have had their checks done. I think that as parents, it's important for you to know how we teach your children to be safe, not just in school, but in the local area and beyond. So we do give them specific assemblies on e-safety, on child sexual exploitation, on radicalisation, all of these things that do sound very, very scary, but once people are aware and know how to look out for the signs and know who to tell if they're concerned, it does help to keep themselves safe. We also have a system of forensic IT monitoring, so should your child, when they're in school, be typing anything into any of our keyboards that we think, that does raise some alarm bells, we do investigate that thoroughly. Obviously your role as parents, and it's one of the most difficult roles that there can be, is to monitor your child's social media as and when you feel appropriate. And then also, if there are things that you feel a little bit concerned about, if you can notify us, and then between yourselves and us, we can work out the best thing to do. So our safeguarding leads are, and we have 3 safeguarding leads. We have Mrs. Elliott, who is the deputy head teacher, Mr. Amos, the assistant head teacher, and Miss Lisa Smith, who is our pastoral lead. Finally, moving on to communication. I suppose when we make that move from primary to secondary school, it's just that change between being able to see a member of staff at the end of every day to not having that facility is massive. We do try to keep you well informed, and one of the main systems that we will be using is our system of Go for Schools. You will get login details for Go for Schools and how to access in the coming weeks. Go for Schools gives you a chance to look at everything that's going on at school in terms of your child's timetable. You can look at their progress, you can look at their attendance and punctuality, any behaviour logs that we have put on, so you've got behaviour tracking as well. The most important thing though is that there's also their homework, so teachers will log their homework on there and additional worksheets and support sheets. So our Go for School system is really, really important, and as I said, you'll get more information on that in the coming weeks. So I'd like to thank you for watching this video, and should you have any more questions, more queries, obviously you can direct them to myself via email, or you can go to your heads of house in the first instance. As Mr. Dixon said at the start, both this video and this PowerPoint will be uploaded, so you can go through things in a bit more detail at your own pace, at your own leisure, as you require. Thank you very much.